Hey, what's up, everyone? It's me and Rocco, the technical analysis dog, of course. Welcome. It is Thursday, October 10th, 2024. Thank you for joining me. I saw a couple of you last night. Last night there was a CMT event. Respect if you guys came out. It was pretty fun. I'll actually be presenting at the next one in November. I'll write something, but if you're in the New York area, come out next month. You'll hear about it more from me. It's where a bunch of technician people get together and look at charts, and we did it last night. It was good stuff. While we watched some baseball, Phil's just not at the right time, and I can't believe the Mets are hosting the CS. It's crazy, and the Yankees did what they were supposed to do. Let's see what happens tonight. All right, so let's share the screen here and see what was the headline today. And I say that literally. I don't know if the AI is going to take our jobs just yet. I really try and get the best images, and this is the best one that they can give me. Truly, after I said, what was the headline I was looking for? Something around Homebuilders falling and Homebuilders fall. So yeah, they're right. Not a hallucination or anything, but was looking for a little bit more when not one of the best. Anyway, so CPI came out this morning a little bit hotter, if you saw the numbers already. So the market did digest that in a negative fashion today. Bonds did move. We'll take a look at the big movers, though. And that was home builders falling about 1.5%. But gold miners and oil jumped about 3% a piece. I actually purchased the GDX today. If you remember, we were talking about it on my pad. It was a green day. I wore the shirt. It was a green day for did some drinking yesterday, so I'm a little bit slower than usual today. Don't make any comments. So I bought the GDX today. It was a green day for GDX, so I finally got in that position. Especially as an options trader, I like getting into uncorrelated trades. And I changed the delta I purchased for these trades. They're both December expiration, basically both at the money. So not expecting massive things, but I did get a long position in gold and the banks today. Financials hit, depending on the sector, financials hit new highs. That's that. And oil jumped 3%. Obviously, God help, Florida and everyone in the path of Milton. Hopefully, everyone making it through all right. So gold miners, big move up today, 3%. Oil up 3.33%. Cybersecurity up 1.3. Oh, you know what? I am sorry. This is a 1 second. We're doing it live. In the words of the great Bill O'Reilly, he's not really great, but we'll do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Is this the same one? Oh, goodness gracious. I told you I was slower today. Just forgive me for a second. This is what happens when don't finish that sentence. All right. Is this it? Oh my heavens, for 7-Eleven. 1 sec. It should be this doc. I'm sorry. We're going to look at gold miners soon. Don't worry. Hold this. Bang. Okay. So let me just make this a little bit bigger so we can all see what's going on here. Oh, my goodness. All right. So hopefully you could see that. Like I said, homebuilders fall. Okay. So gold miners up big. That's what I wanted to highlight. So new all-time highs for cybersecurity, really powering the group. Don't know if you saw, but the American Water Company was hacked out of New Jersey the other day. This is just an area, obviously, with geopolitical, threats as well going on in an election month, rather, in less than a month. This group continues to go up. It's a good place of tech to be in while the general kind of lags, but we'll get a look at that more closer. And then, as I said, homebuilders really was the big drag lower today, off by 1.5%. Rates were higher, not massively, but there was a move higher in rates. And then again, we'll look at IGV, very important piece of the market. That's your Oracles and your Salesforces software, heavy constituency there. New all-time highs for the group, up 4.5% for the past 3 days. We'll take a look at all this. The airlines have been on fire, most likely due to the volatility of oil. So that's up 3.5% in the past 5 days. Although oil itself is up on a net basis, up 2.5%. So we'll look at this, see what that relationship looks like. And then losers, nat gas. You know where I stand on that, but nat gas down 9.5% in the past week. China, that is still mean reverting. It was up today. We'll look at the ASHR, which is the furthest biggest mover, down 8% over the past 5 days. And utilities have not been trading well, down about 3.5% over the past 5 days. So the best trades of the market, the past 5 sessions, short nat gas would have pocketed 9.5%. Short China would have gone 8%, and then long that internet software ETF I was telling you about, IGV, up 4.5%. So without further ado, we'll up the SPY. And let's look at the intraday. So if you remember, I was saying I wasn't really, I was surprised by the strength of the S&P, but I wasn't really certain if we were in further highs. The market traded, pretty decent today. We actually closed right at VWAP. Here was when the CPI number came out. We opened at 577, traded down to about 575, and then chopped along with VWAP. Traded well for most of the day, and then traded under VWAP around 2 o'clock, hit a low at 230, and then closed right above it to close down about 20 bips or so in SPY. Russell was the most further lower of the indices, down 60 bips. Volatility climbed up about 1 to 2%. So in terms of the cycle study I do with 15 to 18 days in terms of, your EKG, as it were, your heartbeat on the treadmill, reading cycles, this kind of got messy now because we were thinking that a distribution phase was going to end mid next week. And now with the new highs yesterday, it kind of interrupts the flow. So it's kind of hard. It's different here. As you can tell, we're just running. So, and it can happen from time to time. We did it for quite a while in February, and obviously we're at new all-time highs as of yesterday. So basically the simplified version, without just sounding absolutely more insane than I am, we have more to go probably to the upside, but there's a lid on it at about 583. So I'd rather be long than short. Obviously, look at the candles, and a good looking one for the most part in the past week, and we got this nice little breakout above 574, but not with much gusto. And the big catalyst is JP Morgan earnings are imminent. CPI is out of the way today. So we'll see how corporate earnings shape up. The setup for financials is they kind of went up quite a bit going into the print. So don't super love the setup, but they could still surprise to the upside. Depends what, Jamie Dimon Company says tomorrow. So all that being said, still expect bullishness in the market. I think we potentially pulled some forward, especially in the face of seasonality. So a little bit weird vibes. I wouldn't be surprised by any pullback to about 570 on any kind of a basis. I thought we could have gone it today. There was a 1% price moved expected in the SPY options as of yesterday, but CPI wasn't, the absolute thriller, 10 bips worse. But anyway, yeah, the lid for me is 582 on a rally, and that should probably take us into the next 2 or 3 weeks or so. All right, if you have a ticker or something, put it in there. If I know how to spell it, I'll look it up. All right, so let me see some big things that moved today. So gold miners, pretty big move. I got in today. Towards the lower, they don't always work out perfectly, but today I'm actually really happy with my entry. I got into the December. I could pull it up. So basically, we closed at 39.92. I bought the D40 call. So it's December 20th, basically at the money calls, as I said. So expect December 20th to be 40 plus what I paid. And in fact, I'll tell you what I paid. I paid $2.20. So my break even is 42.20. And in fact, I'll tell you where my target is on this bad boy in the short term. Really moves. Potentially it goes down another day or two. I think it's going to start to strengthen and hover and hold around their 21-day EMA, which is 39.5. And then my ultimate target is 42.20 for the next 2 to 3 weeks or so. So my December options should be sitting well, pretty obviously, as I'm sitting on a lot of theta is the idea, hence why I entered the trade. So I like this group. Great looking trend. I want to become a part of it. Be aware of the rotations underneath. It's not just semiconductors and all that, although we'll take a look at that chart as well. So yeah, gold miners. I think you can buy them here. Anywhere under 39.5 would be a wonderful entry point at a target of about 42 in 2 to 3 weeks. All righty. Next, big move today in oil, up 3% and change, up to and 0.6%. So messy chart. Look at this, how it's slicing and dicing the 200 moving average. I did kind of an oopsie here, picking its head up on October 7th was the peak. Obviously, when we had geopolitical distress with Israel and Iran and everything else. So now what? Let's look at the chart here. Oil, big day. Obviously, there's hurricane, which does stuff with gasoline levels in Florida where they can't get gasoline. That catalyst is what has honestly pushed it a lot. I mean, Helene as well, and the lack of production there in terms of barrels. So, and this isn't. So I've done a lot of work from 69 to 79 and not a great asset. When a 200-day moving average is like this, I don't really expect massive moves up with gusto here. Like I said, the last big buying day was October 1st. I think that was hurricane related, and then you have this on the Israel strike. So I think the lid on this, the ceiling is about 78 even, so maybe a touch more upside. I don't think it'll eclipse and overtake its October 7th candle bar. And after that, I do expect it to move towards $73. I don't think this is the greatest area to be in. So I think it'll do one of these again. I think it'll go towards about $78, maybe another good day. Not a horrible looking candle here, closing the middle range from the open to all the way to the highs. This is where we close at 77.80 or so. And yeah, I see a breach here of the 200-day moving average in the next 2 to 3 weeks once this stuff gets out of the way. All right, next. Oh, man. Cyber. So this has been a very strong group. It's not a massively traded ETF, but you know the names, obviously, Palo Alto. And if you just looked at this chart, bottom left to top right, my goodness gracious, nothing wrong with that. Hitting new all-time highs today. I look at the green bars here as of, the 8th here from 59 to 62. Still big size bars. Looks great. May have ran up a little bit too much. My target for this was right around 61. So it has done quite a bit, but now you have to zoom out, kind of like what we did with the China analysis. Like I said, this is all-time high. So total green skies ahead for this. So a great looking group. It's not just, Boeing's at 52-week lows, piece of junk. You can still play defense if you want to have, I don't know, there's people like the zombies and they have, scared of the apocalypse and want to hide with spam under your desk or whatever. You could buy cyber. It looks great, and you'll make money. So a great looking chart. Really, no absolute problems with this chart except when the Nikkei crash in August happened. This group was oversold for the only time all year. But other than that, it has superstar status. So great looking job there if you're in cyber. A big story this week. All right, and yeah, so for the losers, XHB, the home builders, did not have a good day today. Home construction also got sold off. So I tried real estate, REITs. So I tried to keep it a little bit diversified. So really, home builders and anything real estate related. So this has been a great looking chart as well. We said pick your spots to get in on this. So I think you're very close. I think an entry around 121 is great. So I think right here where we close at 120 is great. I'm long the ITB, so I'm not going to do anything here. But you could have a little bit more downside. Worst case, ugly sell-off would be 115. I don't think it's going to happen. Probably more likely around 117. And then my target for this is still about 128, which would be new highs. And that's great. You always like new momentum. And something like that, especially if you're in an options trade. So great chart. Nothing happened here. Like I said in the other chart, still a strong one for the cybersecurity group. Like August 5th during the Japan crash, this group never got the memo. Nothing. So this has been just an absolute superstar. If you don't have position and the Fed's cutting into 2026, this is not a horrendous group to be in. Have a little bit of downside, maybe $6 downside, $7 upside if you're really being conservative. But I think it's more like 3 downside and about 7 upside. So I like that 2 to 1. All righty then. So these were the top 3 gainers of the past 5 days. No repeats in charts. IGV, very important index to new all-time highs today, up 4.5%. Today was up 70 bips. Let's take a look. So this is very highly correlated with the market. Like I said, in terms of the way I'm looking at the chart, this is Oracle, Salesforce, and that group has had a great run up. Just my ceiling on this is about 92, so I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down a little. But these candles are strong. There might be some more chasing tomorrow. We'll see. So I know it kind of sounds wishy-washy, so I'd rather stay long. Obviously, the wind is on to its back. I think it is to go higher. But again, trees don't go to the sky. My target was 92 half. So this is rich. So this kind of represents most tech stocks, just because of the high correlation. The airline's up 3.5% in the past 5 days. We'll take a look. A small day, up 40 bips today, but they have been having a nice week, up 3.5%. I thought they were going to flush a little bit more. I think we highlighted this last week, actually. I thought this was going to be more of a visit down to 20, and it did it there on the 3rd for a flash, just a flash. I thought it was going to hover there a little bit longer, but it kind of springboarded here, is now trying to get towards its highs of the year, the May 15th, 2138. Pretty impressive with this everything rally that we're getting. It's not just tech anymore, obviously. So you really got to pick your spots. not a terrible space. Just my target on this is about 21.10 or so, which technically is inside the highs. So not my favorite group, but if you're in it, not terrible. It does tend to move. So small upside. I would rather be a buyer than seller, but yeah, and a good week for it. All righty. And that was that one more. Oil up 2.5% in the past week. And again, I'm just doing this with no bias. These are biggest moves, most traded liquid ETF. So interesting, the flavor. Tech, biggest gainer, and then airlines, not super correlated, and then oil, which typically go the opposite direction. So it's pretty interesting. Oil very close to the chart we just pulled up earlier. Did we already look at a USO? We did. All right, so I'm not going to pull that up again. All right, top 3 losers of the past 5 days. Let's do nat gas. I was talking about this for quite a while last night at the CMT. It is the best short this week, believe it or not. And what had happened, it just textbook the 200-day moving average gets to Kembade, RIP, Matumbo. I will continue to say that, as it has back here in June, as it did back here in May, as it did a little peekaboo here on January 12th, and as it has done October 31st. This thing's a piece of junk. It gets to that level. A buddy last night was talking about, I think it correlates to $3 in the net gas actual price. Regardless, here in the ETF, it's about 1664 presently. It's not strong enough to have that 200-day moving average accept that price. So it's not happening. So this, I believe, will continue to the downside. This, when it has momentum, continues, although it was up 1.8 and a little bit of reversal. I still think this heads towards $13.80 to $14, probably closer to $14 over the next week or so. So would be a nice move. My options, nothing doing as they expire next Friday, and I am in the 14 strike. So it's going to be a Atlantic City style push. So that's not really fun in options. Thankfully, I sold against it, but not a great position. If you did it here, as I told you to wait, and if you were much more patient than me, and you really did wait on the 3rd for the distribution to happen, you just saw the tag and you said, close against it. Could it close above it one time? No. And you got denial. That was textbook. That was just simple trading. And yet, messed it up. It was like, I think Buffett said he could print the rules of how to win trades and make money in Times Square, and no one would have the discipline to do it. So a lot of factors to be consistently profitable. All right, so top 3 losers of the past 5 days. We did net gas down 9.5%, getting handled. ASHR, this is pretty similar to FXI, but ASHR is the biggest mover. So China, obviously, a lot of people are looking at China down 8% or so in the past week. Pretty wild. We said it was going to mean revert, and when it does, it's going to happen hard. Let's take a look-see now. So crazy. So the 21 EMA for this one specifically is 27.45, so we're still way above it. Still see, again, more of a distribution here just due to the extreme levels. And look at this massive candle. The 200-day on its own started to curl up. So 200-day moving average, pretty wild. That's 10 months essentially of trading days inputs. And just based on, 1 week's worth, it's starting to curl up a little bit. Pretty wild. Anyway, all that being said, the 21-day EMA, like I said, is 27.5. I'm not surprised if it gets towards that in the next week. But a strong group still. A tough one to trade. I would still be rather seller over the next week or two, and then a buyer. So I mean, this could go down to about $27 before it moves higher back towards 29. But these levels look absolutely crazy. These 35, 36 seems pretty exuberant. Boobity bop. And lastly, XLU, the utilities have had a crap week, down 3.5%, although they've had a crazy stellar run. Let me pull off the Utes. Boopity bop. All right, so yeah, I just don't think this is a loved group right now. They hit their highs on the 3rd, which was a week ago at 82. It's already corrected all the way come back to 70.5. This group shouldn't typically get super overbought, though it happens in times of crisis. It's been strong, though, and it hasn't actually declined under the 21-day EMA on any sell-off going back to July. I think there's kind of a sentiment change for this group around that time where the 200-day really started to pick up steam, and it was above its previous breakout points from 2023. So I see your ticker. I'll take a look at that after. Thanks, man. So XLU, yeah, not a great week, but like I said, it hasn't descended under the 21-day EMA for 3 months or so. The level for that is 79.20. It closed below it today. So we got to be a little bit more, I'll loosen the band here. So I think about 77 if they decide to hammer this group a little bit worse. Not a great looking candle, so it could be a little bit more to the downside. So maybe a 77 absolute to downside before you want to get long after that with ultimate target of 82. But that's later for about a month or so from now. So still a great looking group. Utes are the presenter last night, Jay Woods, you've probably seen from TV. Top sector performer year to date is this group. So of course I would love to get long this group after this decline is ready. And probably it's going to be ready, I would think, in a week or two. And if you get an entry around 79, that's great. Below that would be even better. I would stay long this group. There's money flowing to areas like this. And again, it's hard to find individual utilities. So you want the exposure, kind of got to have to buy XLU. It's just one of those things. There's not a lot of publicly traded Utes. All right. So that was utilities, not having a great week. Maybe give it a little bit more to come in and then go long. All right. So top 3 absolute trades of the past 5 days: short nat gas, 9.5%, short China, 8%, and then long the IGV up 4.5%. All right, we have a ticker here, PFE. That'd be Pfizer. Let's take a look. Yeah, okay. So let me put it. It would help if I put it on here. All right, so Pfizer's today, short term down 2.8%. Ugh, not a great looking chart. It looks like crap. I don't know what your position is, or your time frame if you want to write, if you're just buying hold or whatever on this. South Point. Is that Chris? Can't really see the picture. It's small. But okay, so here, yeah, I mean, this thing hasn't really tried to do much up until July. Like we just talked about the sentiment change for utilities back then in July. Kind of similar for Pfizer. And what I'm basing that on is the 200-day moving average, not in nosebleed territory, but it's actually starting to hold it. Actually starting to my clock, as I said, I think we were talking about this last night, if that is Chris, 4 to 6 weeks after the 200-day moving average typically starts to decline, you get a 52-week low, depending on the momentum. So the inverse is typically true as well. Once the 200-day moving average, if it starts to hold, I'm not going to say you're going to get a 52-week high in a month or two, but look at the chart here on a 1 year, and the 52-week high is where? Right here? Back here at 33. So, yeah, again, once it starts to hold, this is impressive for me. I would have been a buyer of this. Okay, I got you. He wrote, yeah, lol. Lol's not a ticker. No, I'm just being annoying. Yeah, so this started being a game, sentiment changer July 11th. I would have said a buyer of this by end of August, and it has done it the entire time. And there was a global crash in the middle there. So this is impressive. I would obviously use the 200-day moving average as my support. I wouldn't want to buy much below 28.20. I like the basis there. And use that as your support. Short term, I kind of like it. I'm kind of surprised I had a really nasty day today. My upside target for this in the next 2 to 3 weeks is about 30.80. I think it has a little bit of vol expansion actually. I can get over here. I think healthcare has some tailwinds coming for it in the short term, couple weeks. So I like it. Be patient. I could tell it's going to stay under 30 for a bit as well too, though. So this is a slower mover. But I would probably better names out there with the market all-time highs, but this looks like it's going to get its moment. I hope that makes sense. All right, thank you for that, and we will be back tomorrow with a end of week recap. And peace, y'all.